Ryan stood alone in the silent control room. The stars outside the window looked like frozen sparks in an endless sea. He was tired, but his mind refused to rest. His thoughts wandered again, mostly about her. Aelira. The alien girl with silver eyes and a calm that made the universe feel small. She was not human, not even close. But the way she moved, the way she looked at him, it stirred something inside him that he didn't understand, and maybe didn't want to. He leaned on the console, trying to focus on his work. The sensors hummed quietly, but his thoughts slipped again. He thought about her smile, the way her voice sounded like music inside his head. And then, shame hit him, because the thought wasn't pure. He froze. Slowly, he looked up, and there she was, standing right at the doorway, watching him. Her eyes glowed faintly blue, and she smiled. Human. Her voice echoed inside his mind, calm and clear. You think too loud. Ryan's heart skipped. You can hear that? Aelira stepped closer, each move silent, graceful, almost like floating. I can hear everything. Your words, your fears, even the things you hide from yourself. He turned red. Then you... Yes, she interrupted, still smiling. I heard it. Ryan wanted to vanish. I didn't mean... Mean? She tilted her head. You humans always mean something, even when you say you don't. He didn't know what to say. The silence between them grew heavy. The air itself seemed to listen. Then, she laughed softly, like wind over glass. Don't worry, human. Your thoughts are not dangerous, only curious. He blinked. Curious. Yes. Her eyes shimmered brighter. You see beauty and you feel guilt. You hide what you feel, even when no one is watching. Strange. Ryan tried to breathe, to steady himself. Where I come from, people don't read each other's minds. Then your world must be very lonely. He looked up, surprised. She had stepped close now, too close. Her face was calm, her smile unreadable. Do you know why I smile? She whispered. He shook his head. Because I enjoy watching you try to hide. He didn't answer. He couldn't. Some part of him wanted to run, another part wanted to stay forever in that strange glowing gaze. The alarm lights blinked once in the corner of the room, unnoticed. Outside, the stars shifted slightly, the station moving through orbit. Aelira turned her head, her attention returning to the window. Your planet is noisy, she said softly. Even from here I can feel millions of thoughts at once. So many desires, so much pain. Ryan looked out beside her. That's Earth. We're complicated. Complicated, she repeated, testing the word. I like that. She looked at him again, her tone playful. And you, Ryan, are the most complicated of all. He sighed, half smiling. That's not a compliment. Her voice dropped lower, almost a whisper. It is. In my world. There was a long pause. Two beings, one human and one alien, standing between stars, both trying to understand the other. Ryan finally said, So, you can hear every thought I have? Aelira nodded. Even now? Yes. He swallowed. Then, what am I thinking? Aelira's smile widened just a little. You're thinking that you should stop thinking. Ryan laughed nervously. That's actually true. She leaned closer. And you're also wondering what I'll do next. He froze again. Will you? Her smile turned softer now, but her eyes were deep, like they held something endless. Maybe. I'll surprise you. The console beeped. A faint signal flickered across the monitor. Something unusual. But Ryan couldn't look away from her. In that moment, every sound, every star outside faded. Elira finally stepped back, giving him space. Human curiosity, she said almost fondly. It burns like fire. It makes you dangerous and beautiful. He tried to speak, but the words stuck in his throat. She turned toward the door. You should rest, Ryan. Your thoughts will not stop. But maybe they'll calm. Before she left, she paused and glanced back. Next time, think louder. I enjoy listening. The door closed behind her. The silence returned. Ryan stared at the dark window and whispered, What are you, really? Outside, the reflection of stars blinked in rhythm with the pulse of the alien signal still waiting on his console, but his mind was far away. With her. He didn't know it yet, but this was only the beginning. Something far beyond human understanding had just started. And it all began with one thought he shouldn't have had. If you enjoyed this moment between human and alien, and you want to see what happens next, then gently, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because the story is only getting stranger from here. Ryan couldn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Elira's face, those silver eyes that glowed like twin moons. Her voice still echoed in his mind, gentle yet sharp. Next time, think louder. He turned in his bunk, frustrated. How was he supposed to sleep knowing she could hear his thoughts? Every private word in his head, every image, every secret. Nothing was safe anymore. But beneath that fear, something else stirred, a strange pull toward her. Curiosity, fascination, maybe something deeper he didn't dare name. The station lights dimmed to night mode. All around him, machines hummed softly, keeping hundreds of humans and Lunari alive together in orbit. He was just one small engineer. She was something far beyond him. Still, he couldn't stop thinking. And somewhere out there, she was listening. The next morning, Ryan walked into the control bay. He didn't expect to see her again so soon, but there she was, standing by the central console, looking at Earth spinning below. "Good morning," he said quietly. She turned, smiling faintly. "You slept badly." He frowned. "You were in my head again, weren't you?" Ira tilted her head. "You think so loud, human. It's hard not to listen." He sighed. "Maybe try not to next time." Her eyes glimmered, playful. "Why? You dream interesting things." Ryan's face turned red again. "You're unbelievable." "Thank you," she said simply, as if it were a compliment. For a moment, they just looked at each other, the human pretending not to care, the alien pretending not to read him. But something unspoken passed between them. A silent connection neither wanted to admit. Then, the console beeped. A small red light blinked on the radar screen. Ryan frowned. "That's strange. I don't recognize that signal." He tapped a few keys. A distorted pulse appeared. 3 short bursts, 1 long. It wasn't coming from Earth. It wasn't even coming from Lunari space. Elira's eyes narrowed. That frequency. It's ancient. We stopped using it centuries ago. Ryan turned to her. So it's from your kind? She hesitated. Not exactly. Her tone changed, quieter, tense. There are Lunari, and there are those who broke away long ago. They hate humans. They hate me. Ryan froze. Why would they hate you? She didn't answer. Instead, she stepped closer to the console, her hands hovering over the controls. Her fingers moved gracefully through the holographic interface, tracing the signal's path. It's coming from beyond the wormhole, she whispered. Something or someone is trying to cross. Ryan felt a chill. Is it dangerous? Elira didn't look at him. Everything that comes through a wormhole is dangerous. The room seemed colder suddenly. The hum of the machines grew louder, like the heartbeat of something waiting. Ryan checked the defense grid. We should alert command. No, Elira said quickly. If they know, they'll fire before asking questions. And if this is what I think it is, that will start a war. Ryan stared at her. You're not telling me everything, are you? She looked at him, her calm mask cracking just a little. There are things about my world you wouldn't understand. Try me. Her gaze lingered on him for a long second. Then she whispered, Some Lunari wanted to rule, not learn. They saw your species as experiments, toys. When I came here, I was supposed to report your weaknesses. Ryan's blood ran cold. Supposed to? I didn't. She looked away. I chose to stay, to learn, to listen. He took a step back. So that's why you're here, spying. Elira turned sharply, eyes glowing brighter now. No, not spying, watching. There's a difference. Ryan clenched his fists. Then why didn't you tell us? Because your people fear what they can't control. Her voice softened. Just like mine. For a long moment, no one spoke. The only sound was the soft rhythmic pulse of the alien signal, like a heartbeat in the dark. Then Elira whispered, They found me. Ryan's eyes widened. Who? The ones I left behind. She looked straight at him. They know I betrayed them. He felt the floor tilt beneath him, metaphorically, maybe even literally. You're saying they're coming here? She nodded slowly. And they will not stop until they erase me. The lights flickered. Outside the window, a faint flash of blue shimmered in the void. The wormhole was opening. Ryan rushed to the comms. We have to call security. Elira caught his arm. If you call them, they'll shoot first, and if they shoot, the others will answer with fire. You'll lose everything. Ryan stared at her hand on his arm, then at her eyes. Then what do we do? She took a deep breath, the glow in her skin pulsing softly. We hide. He blinked. Hide? In space? She smiled slightly. Not in space. In minds. Before he could ask, she reached forward and touched his forehead with 2 fingers. A spark shot through him, cold and bright. The room blurred, sound vanished, and suddenly he was inside something, her thoughts, her world. He saw flashes of alien cities, towers made of light, oceans that glowed purple under twin moons. He saw her standing alone before a council of shadowed figures, their minds pressing against hers. He heard her voice crying out, I choose freedom. And then, exile. Ryan gasped, pulling away. What was that? Elira's voice was quiet, trembling slightly. My memory. So you'll believe me? He looked at her, truly seeing her for the first time. not just as an alien, but as someone who'd lost everything to protect something she believed in. Before he could speak, the console flared red. The signal was now constant. Something had crossed the wormhole. Elira's expression hardened. "They're here." Ryan's heart pounded. "Then we fight?" She smiled faintly. "No, Ryan. You humans fight. We think." The room trembled as power surged through the walls. Lights flickered. Ryan grabbed the edge of the console as alarms began to scream. Elira's eyes glowed brighter than ever. She looked at him one last time. "If they take me, they'll read my mind, and they'll find you there. You must not think of me." "What?" "Don't think of me. Don't feel. Don't remember." Her words echoed through his skull like thunder, and before he could answer, everything went white. The wormhole opened like an eye, and something stepped through. The light swallowed everything. Ryan couldn't move, couldn't breathe. It felt like his mind had been ripped apart and scattered through stars. Then, slowly, the world began to return. The control room came into focus again. Dim lights, blinking consoles, the low hum of power. But something was different. The air felt heavier, charged. Elira stood frozen, staring at the window. Her eyes blazed with white fire now, brighter than before. Ryan forced out a breath. "Elira, what just happened?" She didn't answer. Instead, she whispered one word. So soft, he almost didn't hear it. "They're here." Outside the window, the stars shimmered. Then, space itself rippled, like a stone hitting water. A black ship emerged from the void. It wasn't large, but its shape was wrong. Shifting, alive, as if made of shadow and light. Ryan stepped back. That's not a normal ship." Elira's face was pale. "It's not. It's them. The outcasts." The ship's hull glowed with strange runes, symbols that twisted as he looked at them. He could feel something in his chest, like fingers brushing his mind. "They're reading me," he whispered. Elira nodded grimly. "They're searching for me. They sense my bond with you." "Then break it," Ryan said. "Hide yourself." "I can't." Her voice trembled slightly. "Once two minds connect, the link leaves a trace. They'll find me through you." Ryan looked at her, fear and frustration fighting in his chest. "Then what do we do?" Elira closed her eyes. "We run. Now." She moved fast, gliding across the floor with impossible grace. Ryan followed as alarms began to scream through the corridors. Red lights flashed. The base shook. They reached the emergency lift. "Where are we going?" Ryan shouted. "To the lower hangar. There's a scout craft we can use." The lift doors closed. The hum of descent filled the silence between them. Ryan stared at her profile, calm, unreadable, yet something about her looked different. There was fear there now, buried deep beneath the surface. "You knew they'd come one day, didn't you?" he said quietly. She nodded slowly. "Yes, but not so soon." "What do they want?" "Me," she said, "and anyone I've touched." Ryan frowned. "Touched?" She looked at him. "You." Before he could respond, the lift shook violently. The lights flickered, then went out. A terrible screech echoed through the shaft, metal twisting. Elira's hand glowed, casting pale light. "They've boarded." "How?" Ryan gasped. "We have shields." Her expression darkened. "They don't need to enter through doors. They enter through thoughts." A cold voice echoed suddenly through the intercom. It wasn't human. It wasn't Lunari. It sounded like thousands of whispers speaking as one. "I, Lyra of the Lunari. You cannot hide. return to the unity. The human will be erased. Ryan's heart pounded. They can talk through our system. They're not using the system, Illyra said. They're speaking directly into your mind. Ryan gritted his teeth. Then tell them to stay out. Illyra closed her eyes, pressing her fingers to her temples. A soft wave of energy pulsed through the air. The whispering stopped, but the silence that followed was worse. The lift opened. Smoke filled the corridor. Sparks rained from broken panels. Illyra grabbed his wrist. This way. They ran through the dim hallway toward the hangar. The floor vibrated under their feet as explosions echoed in the distance. Halfway there, the air shimmered like a heat wave, and a shape appeared ahead. It was humanoid, tall, dark, almost translucent, eyes like burning glass. Ryan froze. Is that one of them? Illyra nodded, her voice low. A thought form. A soldier made from memory. The creature tilted its head, and a dozen voices whispered from its mouth. You think we can't see you, exile? Illyra stepped forward, her voice steady. Leave him. I'm the one you want. The creature's form flickered, distorting. You have betrayed the mind link. You will return or be unmade. Ryan pulled out his plasma cutter, useless, but it made him feel less powerless. Stay back, he said. The creature turned toward him, its gaze cold. Human. Your mind is open. You imagine fear and shame and her. Ryan's grip tightened. Get out of my head! The creature smiled, a horrible echoing smile. We already are. Illyra stepped between them, her body glowing with fierce blue light. Ryan, close your thoughts. How? Don't think. Feel nothing. He tried, but his mind was chaos, fear, panic, and through it all, her face. The creature raised a shadowy hand, energy gathering like a storm. Illyra thrust out her palm. The light burst from her body, pure, blinding. The creature screamed, a sound like metal breaking, and vanished in a wave of static. Ryan gasped, falling to one knee. What did you do? Illyra's glow dimmed. I burned its connection, but it will return, with others. She stumbled slightly. He caught her arm. You're hurt. She shook her head. No, just drained. He looked at her, confused. Why are you helping me? You could have left. Illyra's eyes softened. Because you believed me, when no one else would. A long silence hung between them, filled with the hum of broken machinery. Then she said quietly, We have to leave before they reach the hangar. They ran again, faster now. The hangar door came into view, half closed, emergency lights flickering. Inside, a small silver craft sat waiting. Ryan helped her inside. As he powered the engines, the ship shook, the station taking another hit. Through the window, he saw several dark shapes forming in the corridor behind them, more thought forms. Hold on, he shouted. The ship roared to life. Illyra reached out, pressing her glowing hands to the control screen. The walls around them rippled, the ship fading from sight just as the creatures burst through the door. Ryan looked around, panicked. What did you do? We're invisible to them, she said. For now. Outside, the thought forms searched the empty hangar, whispering in unison. She hides. But we feel her still. Ryan watched in silence as they drifted away. Then he turned to Illyra. How long can you keep this up? She didn't answer immediately. Her glow was fading. Not long, she finally said. Their mind network is too strong. Once they find us, there will be no more running. Ryan looked at her, This strange, beautiful alien who smiled at danger and spoke in riddles and felt something he hadn't before. Not fear, not curiosity, something heavier. He whispered, "Then we'll fight together." Elira looked up, surprised. Her lips curved into a small, tired smile. "Careful, human. When you say things like that, I can feel you mean them." Ryan smiled faintly. "Then read this thought too. I'm not leaving you." For the first time, Elira's expression broke completely. Not a smirk, not mystery, just something real, something almost human. Outside, the stars trembled. The wormhole pulsed again, wider, hungrier. The darkness wasn't done with them yet. And deep inside the void, a new voice whispered, "Let them run. The connection will lead us to Earth." The ship drifted through black space, silent, invisible, caught between worlds. Ryan sat at the control deck, staring at the stars. Each one looked calm, but he knew behind that calmness hid danger. The wormhole was still open. The enemy could come through at any second. Beside him, Elira sat quietly, her eyes closed, light faint beneath her skin. She looked peaceful, but exhausted. Ryan wanted to say something, anything, but words felt too small for what she had done. Finally, he whispered, "You saved me back there." Her lips curved slightly. "I also doomed you, remember?" He frowned. "You think I care?" Her eyes opened slowly. "You should. You're connected to me now. When they find me, they'll find you." Ryan leaned closer. "Then we'll just make sure they don't." Elira looked at him for a long time, her expression unreadable. Then she smiled, softly, almost sadly. "You speak like your kind always does. Brave, foolish, beautiful." He tried to laugh, but couldn't. "You always make bravery sound like a curse." "Sometimes it is." They sat in silence for a moment. Outside, the stars stretched across the dark like frozen sparks. Ryan turned his gaze to Earth, a small blue light in the distance. Home. So far away. Then, without warning, the low lights inside the ship flickered. The hum of the engines faltered. Ryan jumped up. "What's happening?" Elira's hand pressed against the wall. Her glow brightened slightly. "They're tracing us through the energy field. They can't see us, but they can feel the power we use." "Can we shut it down?" "If I cut the engines, we'll drift. Maybe forever." Ryan gritted his teeth. "Better drifting than dying." Elira nodded slowly. "Then hold on." She touched the panel, and the ship's light faded until everything was dark. The hum stopped. Only the faint breathing of two lives remained. Silence. Cold, endless silence. They floated in the void. No sound, no motion. Ryan's heartbeat echoed in his ears. After a while, he whispered, "You said you left your people. Why?" Elira's gaze drifted toward the window. "Because I didn't want to become like them. I wanted to understand the smaller voices, the ones inside hearts." He frowned. "You mean emotions?" "Yes," she said softly. "Emotions. We study them, but we don't feel them, not truly. I wanted to learn what it means to care." Ryan smiled faintly. "And have you learned?" She looked at him, and for the first time, her expression trembled. "I think I'm learning now." Before he could reply, The ship shook gently. A pulse of energy rippled through the hull. Ryan's console flashed weakly, an incoming signal. Elira's head snapped up. "They found us!" "How?" Her voice was tight. "Because of me. They can read the trail of my thoughts. The link to you makes it louder." Ryan turned toward her, desperate. "Then break it! Cut the link!" She shook her head slowly. "I can't. Once our minds touched, they became one current. If I tear it apart, both of us could die." He stared at her. "So that's it? We just sit here and wait?" "No," she said, standing up. "We hide deeper." Her hands glowed again. She stepped closer to him. "Close your eyes, Ryan. Don't resist this time." He obeyed. Warm light spread from her fingers across his temples. The ship dissolved around him, and suddenly he was somewhere else. He stood on a wide plain of silver sand beneath a violet sky. Towers rose in the distance, shimmering like glass. It was silent, except for a low hum that seemed to come from the ground itself. "This is my world," her voice said beside him. He turned. Elira stood there, glowing softly, her bare feet leaving no prints on the sand. "It's beautiful," Ryan whispered. "It was," she said, "before the Unity." He frowned. "The Unity? Our leaders. They joined all Lunari minds into one. A perfect link. No secrets, no lies, no fear." She paused. "No freedom." Ryan looked around. "Everyone shares thoughts?" "Everything," she said. "They called it peace. I called it silence." He turned toward her. "And you left?" "Yes." Her voice cracked slightly. "I ran. They said I was broken. They tried to erase me. But I learned to hide in human noise. So many thoughts. So much chaos. They couldn't find me there." Ryan felt something twist in his chest. "You were alone." "For years," she whispered. "Until you thought of me." He blinked. "What?" Her eyes met his. "That first day on the base, when you thought something you shouldn't have. Your mind called out. It was loud, raw, alive. It reminded me what feeling meant." Ryan tried to smile, but the moment was heavy, electric. "So, I saved you by thinking something stupid?" Her smile returned, soft and sad. "Yes, a very human kind of rescue." The sand rippled suddenly. The sky darkened. Elira's face changed. "They found the link." From the horizon, shadows rose, dark shapes of light and mist, faceless and tall. Their voices came as one. "Exile, return your mind to the Unity." Ryan felt their presence press against his skull, cold, sharp. They weren't speaking. They were invading. Elira grabbed his hand. "Focus on me." He tried, but their whispers grew louder. "Human! You do not belong here. Leave her or lose yourself." Ryan shouted. "Get out of my head!" But the ground cracked open beneath him. The silver sand turned to ash. The shadows grew closer. Elira stepped forward, eyes blazing. "You want me? Then take me!" She spread her arms, and a beam of light burst from her chest. The shadows screamed, twisting like smoke. Ryan shielded his eyes. When the light faded, they were back inside the ship. The stars outside burned brighter. Elira collapsed to her knees, gasping. Her glow flickered weakly. Ryan knelt beside her. Hey, stay with me." She tried to smile. "I'm fine. Just tired." He touched her shoulder gently. "You're lying." She gave a faint laugh. "Yes, Humans taught me that too. The console flickered again. A faint red mark appeared on the radar. Several ships closing in. Ryan's stomach dropped. They're still coming. Elira nodded, her voice low. They won't stop. They think I carry something dangerous. What could be so dangerous? Her eyes met his, shining faintly. A feeling. Something they lost long ago. Something they fear. What feeling? Elira smiled faintly, almost whispering. Love. The ship trembled again. The enemy was near. Ryan gripped the controls. Then let's make them afraid. Elira stood beside him, light returning, stronger now, burning blue like fire. For the first time they faced the dark together, and somewhere beyond the wormhole, the unity whispered through endless minds. Prepare the fleet. The human world will burn for this defiance. The alarms on the human base screamed through the night sky of Orbit Station 12. Down in the main control room, screens flashed red, one after another. Unauthorized contact detected. Every commander on the deck looked toward the same feed. A small silver craft moving fast near the wormhole line. Who's piloting that? Someone shouted. ID shows Ryan Cole, engineering unit, another voice replied. He's not cleared for off-W. Old flight. Bring him in! Now! Inside the small craft, Ryan tightened his grip on the controls. They've spotted us! Elira sat beside him, eyes closed, skin faintly glowing again. I told you they'd trace me. Now your own people will think you're a traitor. Ryan smiled faintly. Wouldn't be the first time someone called me that. She glanced at him, reading the flicker of pain behind his words. You've been betrayed before. He didn't answer. The silence told her enough. Through the window, the human defense drones glided toward them. 3, then 5, then 10. Their lights blinked cold white against the black. A voice crackled through the comms. Unidentified vessel, power down immediately. You are entering restricted space. Ryan hit the switch, muting the signal. They won't listen. They will shoot, Elira said softly. Then we'll dodge. You can't fight your own people, Ryan. He looked at her. Watch me. The first drone fired. A flash of light tore past the hull, grazing the ship. The blast rocked them hard. Elira caught the wall, eyes burning. They don't know you're with me. They just see danger. Ryan's voice was calm, almost cold. Then maybe they're right. He twisted the controls, diving toward the dark side of a nearby moon. The ship rattled, alarms howling. Metal screamed. And still, Elira's voice echoed in his mind. They're scared of what they don't understand. Just like my people were. Then let's give them something new to fear, Ryan muttered. He pulled the craft down into the moon's shadow. Radar went dark. The drones lost lock. For a moment, there was peace. Elira slumped into the seat, breathing hard. You risked everything for me. Ryan laughed softly. Guess I do stupid things for the right reasons. She smiled weakly. That's very human. But before either could speak again, the comms flared alive. A voice, deep, commanding, and angry. Ryan Cole, you are ordered to surrender immediately. You are charged with aiding a hostile alien entity. Ryan froze. He knew that voice. Captain Marrow, the officer who once mentored him. Don't do this, sir, Ryan whispered to no one. You don't understand. Elira touched his arm gently. They can't hear reason when they've chosen fear. Her glow brightened faintly. But we can make them listen. Ryan looked at her, puzzled. How? She turned her gaze toward the comm unit. Through truth. Before he could stop her, Aelira closed her eyes and pressed both hands against the ship's console. A pulse of light spread through the circuitry, crawling into every signal. "Wait, what are you doing?" Her voice echoed softly. "Connecting." In seconds, every human ship in range received the same thing. Not words, not sound, images, visions of her world, of the unity, of exile, of pain. They saw her people join minds until no one was free. They saw her running through halls of light, chased by faceless figures. And then they saw her meeting a human engineer who thought too loud and smiled too shy. Inside command, soldiers froze mid-order. Captain Marrow gripped his head. What is this?" Aelira's voice filled every mind on the channel. "I am not your enemy. I ran from a prison made of thought. They are coming, not for conquest, but for silence. They will make you part of them." Then the vision ended. The ships around them hesitated. No one fired. Ryan looked at her in awe. "You just spoke to an entire fleet." Her smile was faint, tired. They needed to see. But peace never lasts. The wormhole behind them blazed open, ripping the black apart. From its mouth poured shadow ships, hundreds of them, each alive with moving light. The unity had arrived. Ryan's heart pounded. "How did they cross so fast?" Aelira's expression darkened. "Because I showed them the way, through your minds." He stared at her, stunned. "You mean when you connected to the fleet?" "I left the gate open," she whispered. "They followed the link." The console flared red, enemy signatures everywhere. A voice, cold, countless, filled the air again. "Aelira, you opened the path. You have already returned." Her glow dimmed. "No, I will never return." Ryan gripped the control stick. "We can still close it, right? There must be a way." She shook her head slowly. "Not without power strong enough to tear space itself." "Then use mine." She looked at him, startled. "What?" He took her hand. "You said our minds are linked. Take what you need. Just close it." Aelira's eyes widened. "If I draw from you, your mind may not survive." Ryan smiled weakly. "You can read my thoughts. You already know my answer." Her lip trembled, something raw flashing in her eyes. "You foolish, beautiful human." She placed her hand over his heart. Light exploded between them, blue and white, blinding. Ryan felt everything. Her fear, her memories, her loneliness, and beneath it all, something pure and bright that burned like fire. Aelira's voice whispered inside his head, "Hold me in your thoughts, and don't let go." The wormhole screamed, if space could scream. It twisted violently, collapsing inward. One by one, the enemy ships shattered, pulled into nothing. The Unity's voice roared across the stars. "You cannot destroy the collective! We are forever!" Aelira's glow flared brighter. "Then forever ends tonight." With one final burst, the wormhole imploded. Silence returned. Every light in the sky dimmed. The power drained. The ship drifted again, dark and still. Ryan blinked slowly, head spinning, his vision blurred. Across from him, Aelira slumped forward, unmoving. "No, no, no, Aelira." He reached for her, shaking her shoulder. Her skin was cold, faintly luminous. She opened her eyes weakly. "The link. It's fading." "Don't you dare," Ryan whispered. "Stay with me." Her fin. Gers brushed his cheek. "You gave me what no one ever could." Tears stung his eyes. "What?" She smiled faintly. "A human heart." And then her glow vanished, gone like a candle in wind. Ryan held her close, his chest hollow, the stars outside silent witnesses. The wormhole was gone. The enemy was gone. But so was she. He closed his eyes, whispering into the dark. "You said not to think of you, Elira, but how can I not?" Outside, the moonlight reflected off the silver hull, and deep within the silence of his mind, a whisper returned, soft, warm, impossible. "You still think too loud, human." Ryan froze. His heart began to race. He smiled through tears. "You're still here." The stars flickered once, like a smirk in the dark. For a long time, there was nothing. Only the soft hiss of static and the quiet hum of cooling metal. Ryan sat in the dark cockpit, arms around Elira's still body. Her skin was cool now, faintly silver under the starlight. He couldn't feel a pulse. He couldn't cry anymore either. Then, a whisper. "You still think too loud, human." He froze. His breath caught in his throat. "Elira?" The air around him shimmered faintly. A pulse of blue light slid across the glass panels. He looked down. Her body hadn't moved, but the sound had come from inside him, inside his head. He touched his temple. "Where are you?" "Everywhere you are." Her voice was calm, softer now, like an echo wrapped in warmth. Ryan closed his eyes. "You're alive." "Not alive. Not the way you mean. My body's gone, but part of my mind stayed with you." He leaned back slowly, trying to steady his breathing. "You said the link might merge us." "It did. My consciousness hid inside your neural path. It's the only place the unity can't reach." For a moment, Ryan didn't know whether to be terrified or grateful. "You're inside my brain?" A quiet laugh rippled through his thoughts. "Don't worry, I'll keep my distance." He smirked weakly. "You always say that before reading everything I think." Old habits die slowly. Outside, the stars drifted. The ship floated in darkness, powerless but safe. For now. Ryan took a deep breath. "We need to get back to Earth." "You can't," she said. "They'll call you infected. The mind link is forbidden on your world." "Then where do I go?" "Forward." He looked out into the endless black. "Forward where, Elira? There's nothing left." The silence that followed was strange, not empty, but thoughtful. Then her voice returned, a little quieter. "You humans have a word for what I'm seeing through your eyes right now. Hope." Before he could answer, the radar blinked, just once. A single red point appeared on the edge of the screen. Ryan frowned. "That can't be right. The wormhole's gone." "It is. But something slipped through before it closed." The red dot moved closer. Slow, steady, deliberate. He tightened his straps. "Another Unity ship?" Elira's tone changed. "No, this one's smaller, and it feels human." The comm crackled. "Unidentified craft. This is Earth Command. Identify yourself." Ryan hesitated. Should I answer? They'll trace your voice, but maybe they can help. He pressed the comm switch. This is Ryan Cole, engineering unit. I'm alive. Static. Then, Ryan, we thought you were dead. What happened out there? Ryan swallowed. It's a long story. I've got a situation. Bring the ship to Dock Bay 12. Medical teams are ready. Elira's whisper brushed against his thoughts. They'll test you. They'll find me. I'll keep you safe, he murmured under his breath. Ryan, listen. The Unity doesn't die easily. When I collapse the wormhole, fragments of them scattered. They'll search through anything linked to me, including you. Then we'll hide you. Inside you. He smiled faintly. You said there's room in here. A pause, then a quiet laugh echoed in his head. Foolish. Beautiful. Hours later, the docking lights of Earth Station came into view. Tiny at first, then bright, like distant candles welcoming him home. As the ship entered orbit, Ryan could see rescue drones rising to meet him. Inside his skull, Elira's presence felt warmer, closer. You should rest, Ryan. You're trembling. He gripped the controls tighter. If I rest, they'll take you away. You can't protect me if you fall apart. He sighed. You sound like my conscience. Maybe I am. The docking clamps locked with a metallic snap. Lights flared through the cockpit. Brace yourself, he muttered. As the hatch opened, white light spilled in. Human soldiers in sterile suits surrounded the ship, weapons raised. Hands where we can see them! Ryan lifted his arms slowly. Easy. I'm not the enemy. They pulled him out roughly, sealing the ship behind glass barriers. One officer, Commander Marrow, stepped forward, face hard as stone. Ryan Cole, you disappeared during hostile contact. Where's the alien? Ryan's mouth went dry. She's gone. Marrow's eyes narrowed. And yet your readings show unusual brain activity. Ryan tried to steady his voice. That's stress. Lie better, Elira murmured in his head. Marrow snapped his fingers. Two med techs stepped forward, scanners glowing. Ryan flinched as a beam swept over his face. Commander, one said quietly. We're detecting something embedded in his neural pattern, not human. Marrow's hand went to his sidearm. What did you bring back, Cole? Ryan's pulse spiked. Elira, now would be a good time for one of your miracles. Already working on it. The lights above flickered. Monitors flashed static. Every scanner in the bay glitched, showing nonsense symbols, the same alien runes from her ship. Marrow shouted, Shut it down! Shut it all down! In the confusion, Ryan felt a pulse in his mind, a surge of energy. The glass door burst open behind him. Run, Elira's voice said. He didn't hesitate. He dashed through the corridor, alarms wailing, footsteps thundering behind him. Left turn ahead, she warned. He turned sharply, nearly slipping. The floor beneath him glowed faintly blue, her power bleeding through the metal. Where are we going? He gasped. Somewhere quiet, somewhere I can hide again. He burst into a dark maintenance hall. The hum of engines drowned the shouts behind him. He stopped, panting. What now? For a moment, everything was silent. Then, a voice, not hers, but many voices, whispering together. Found you. Ryan's head throbbed. He stumbled, gripping the wall. Elira, what is that? The Unity's echo, a fragment of their hive consciousness. It followed us through the link. The whispers grew louder, forming words. You cannot hide from what you carry. Ryan dropped to his knees. Make it stop! I can't! Elira's voice trembled. It's inside me, inside you. They're trying to merge again. Images flashed behind his eyes. Aelira's world, the wormhole, endless minds whispering together. And then, a single cold phrase. "You are ours now." Ryan screamed. The corridor lights shattered. Blue fire burst from his chest. Her energy mingled with his. Then, silence. When he opened his eyes again, he was lying on the floor. The alarms were gone. The world was still. Elira's voice returned, faint but calm. "They almost took you, but I stopped them." He sat up slowly. "How?" "By burning a piece of myself away." Ryan's throat tightened. "Aelira, don't mourn yet. We're not safe. The echo will return. It always does." He stood, trembling but alive. "Then we find a way to end it. For good." A pause. Then her quiet reply. "We will. Together." Outside, through a small service window, Earth glowed below. Blue, fragile, unaware of what now lived inside one human mind. And somewhere deep within that mind, a faint smile lingered in the dark. The hum of the maintenance bay had faded hours ago. Now, only Ryan's slow breathing filled the dark. He sat on the cold floor, staring at the faint blue veins of light still pulsing under his skin. He didn't know if it was his heartbeat or hers. Inside his mind, Aelira whispered softly, "You should sleep." He shook his head. "If I sleep, they'll come back. They already have." The air grew heavy. A flicker, like static, ran through his vision. Shadows formed on the walls, long and thin, bending where no light touched. Ryan stood slowly. "Aelira, tell me that's not them. It's the echo, the Unity's last shard. It survived inside you." The shadows moved closer, whispering, "You thought you could escape the many. You are part of us now." Ryan pressed his palms against his temples. "Get out of my head!" But they weren't only in his head. They were taking form, dozens of shimmering silhouettes of half-light and half-thought. Elira's voice trembled. "They're using your body as a door. Ryan, you must fight them." "How?" "With me. But this time, it won't be like before. You'll have to let me in. Completely." He froze. "You mean merge?" "Yes." Her tone was steady now. "If we join fully, I can burn them out. But when it's done, there might be nothing left of me. Or you." He looked at the walls closing in, the whispering shapes drawing nearer. A slow, resigned smile crossed his face. "Then we burn together." "Ryan!" "No more running, Aelira. No more fear. Let's finish it." For a heartbeat, the world held still. Then her voice changed, soft, almost breaking. "You humans always say brave things when you're scared." "I'm terrified," he admitted. "But I'm not alone." A flash of light filled the corridor. The shadows screamed. Ryan felt her enter him, not just her voice, but her entire presence, flooding every thought, every memory. He gasped as the edges of himself blurred away. Images crashed through him, her childhood under lunary skies, endless towers, glowing seas, the first moment she touched his mind. He saw himself through her eyes, clumsy, loud, alive. He understood why she smiled that day, the Shad, whose shrieked louder. "Two minds cannot stand against the many!" Aelira's voice thundered from within him, no longer a whisper. "Then hear the thoughts of the free." Light burst outward, blue fire mixed with human red, spiraling into white. Ryan's body lifted from the ground, eyes burning with twin stars. The Unity's echo tried to press in, clawing at every open memory. They showed him visions, earth consumed, people kneeling in quiet obedience, perfect peace through silence. It was beautiful and horrifying all at once. For a moment, Ryan felt it pulling him. Maybe silence would be easier. No fear, no guilt, no pain. Then Elira's voice surged through the noise. Remember what you gave me, human. A heartbeat. Choice. He focused on laughter, on sunlight, on every wild, broken human thing. The shadows recoiled. He shouted into the storm, "You'll never take that from us!" The explosion was silent, but blinding. The corridor vanished in light. When the light faded, the world was still again. Ryan lay on the floor, smoke curling from the metal around him. The shadows were gone. His body trembled, but he was breathing. "Elira," he whispered. No answer. He waited, heart pounding. "Elira, please." Nothing. Then, very faint. "I'm here," he exhaled shakily. "We made it." "For now," she murmured, weaker than before. "The unity is gone, but I burned too much of myself." "No," he said, voice cracking. "You'll heal. We'll find a way." "Ryan, don't say goodbye. Not again." A gentle warmth spread through his chest. "I'm not saying goodbye. I'm saying thank you." He felt her fading, each word softer, like light slipping underwater. "You taught me what it means to be human. I don't want to lose that. So I'll stay here." He closed his eyes. "Inside me? In your thoughts. In every heartbeat that remembers mine." Her presence settled, quiet, deep, peaceful. Outside, dawn began to rise over Earth's curve. Golden light flooded through the cracks of the broken station. Ryan stood slowly, looking down at the planet below. He felt her there, like a calm breath behind his eyes. He smiled faintly. "Guess we're both stowaways now." "Guess so," she whispered back. Weeks later, the world called him a hero. The report said he destroyed the invading anomaly alone, collapsing the wormhole. No one mentioned Elira. No one believed in her. Maybe that was better. At night, when the noise of cities faded, he still heard her sometimes. Gentle laughter, curious questions, soft teasing about his loud thoughts. She was part of him now, living inside the space where human dreams met alien memory. And sometimes, when he closed his eyes, he saw stars shimmer in colors Earth had no names for. Her world and his fused together. One evening, standing under the open sky, he whispered to the wind, "Do you ever regret it? Staying?" A pause. Then her voice, clear as a sigh. "No, because in your chaos, I found peace." Ryan looked up at the first star of night. For a second, it glowed brighter, silver blue, like a smile across the heavens. He grinned. "You're still watching?" "Always." The wind grew quiet. The stars burned on. And in the distance, deep beyond sight, something stirred. A faint hum, a ripple in the dark. Not the unity, not this time. Something new. Ryan felt it, faintly, and smiled. "Guess peace never lasts long, huh?" Elira's answer came with soft amusement. "Not for humans," he laughed. Good. I'd get bored. Their shared heartbeat echoed in the quiet cosmos. Two minds, one soul, drifting among endless stars. The story that began with a single forbidden thought ended with a shared one. Or maybe it hadn't ended at all. Because sometimes, when the stars blinked just right, they both swore the universe smiled back. The end.